What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video here today. We're back finally for career mode here on F1 2019 for season 2. I've been pretty excited for this, not gonna lie. I feel like we're gonna be a definite championship contender this season, as well as our teammate Sergio Perez. That's good, I can't even remember what I wanted to say. But anyway, so we've got quite a few upgrades on the way, so hopefully that can do us a world of good. Just having a look at the season 1 results there, and as you can see, just consistency is really what put us right up the front in the title race, got us P3, points finish every race in season 1, so we'll see if we can replicate that, but let's head over to season 2.
Okay, it's a new season, fresh start, but by no means a clean slate when it comes to development. We're always pushing forwards, and hopefully when you get out there this weekend, you'll be able to feel the progress we've made over the last 12 months. I won't wish you good luck, just good hunting. Go show them how it's done.
Alright, we'll try and do that, boss. Welcome, guys, to season 2. Now, one thing that I want to say is I'm very excited to see driver transfers as well, so let's go and just have a look at everything now. Current contract terms, that's the way we left it at the end of season 1. Right, and all upgrades have gone on the car, so 2 chassis upgrades, 2 aero on 1 engine, weather forecast, dry, and here we go, driver moves, and there's quite a few. So first off, Lewis Hamilton moving to Red Bull Racing, replacing Pierre Gasly. Antonio Giovinazzi moving to Mercedes AMG Petronas, replacing Lewis Hamilton. Pierre Gasly's moving to Toro Rosso, replacing Danny Kvyat. Lucas Weber moving to Toro Rosso. Alex Albon has been let go, and Danny Kvyat moves over to Renault, I think that was, replacing Lucas Weber. So a very interesting and quite different looking driver lineup here for season 2. Mercedes now is the 4th best car. We've jumped up to the 3rd best car. As you can see over the winter break, a lot of teams making very solid gains compared to where we ended season 1. So 5 upgrades on the car here for the start of season 2, so this thing is undoubtedly going to be a rocket ship. We're on 110 AI difficulty as well now for season 2, so without further ado, let's get into practice for the Australian Grand Prix and let's see what we can do.
Welcome to the Australian Grand Prix. We're just about to kick off what should be a really interesting day of practice for our drivers out on the track.
We're going to be logging some extra data during this session. Nothing you need to worry about, but as we have some new parts, we'll just confirm they're performing to spec.
Alright, so here we are in the garage for practice here for the Australian Grand Prix in our little pink Panther racing car. But let's not stall, let's get out there and let's see what this thing can do. So coming into this, I was confident that I could fight for a podium. Top 5 definitely. That was until I decided to make the change to move it up to 110 ultimate AI difficulty, so the hardest possible difficulty setting. So I'm not going to lie, I wasn't really sure where I'd stand now that I've done that. It wasn't originally going to be my intention, but after speaking to a few people and just thinking about things myself, I decided, you know what, let's make a bit of a change and let's try and really see where we stand against the AI when they're at their most competitive as well. But just having a look at some of the AI in their new surroundings, you see Danny Kvyat there in a Renault and Antonio Giovinazzi in a Silver Arrow. That's quite odd to see and talk about as well, so yeah, probably have to adjust to that as well as seeing this man now in a Red Bull. So Lewis Hamilton making the switch from Mercedes to Red Bull for season 2, which is quite interesting to see. I didn't think that Lewis would move. I thought he'd stay with Mercedes, but apparently he has either just had enough with the team or just wanted a new challenge, and he's decided to head over to Milton Keynes and see what he can muster up in the Red Bull. So quite interesting to see how he goes in this season. But practice-wise for us, it went fairly well. We had a few moments just adjusting to the car, just finding out how hard we can push. But practice one went fairly well, top of the timesheets by almost 2.5 tenths over Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen. Our teammate Sergio Perez in P5, so both racing points in the top 5. But one thing that's crucial to know there, Perez 9 tenths off of us on the hard compounded tyres. So Perez is 2 compounds harder and he's within 1 second of us, so that's not really a great indication of things to come, in my opinion. But yeah, pretty good start so far. We got through every practice program, I think, with a purple score, so maximum amount of resource points for practice. But I think it's about time that we head over to qualifying, so we'll try and make it into Q3. Top 6, top 7 would probably be my aim, but we'll see what we can muster out of this new and improved Racing Point F1 car. I'm intrigued to see what pole time is going to be as well compared to Season 1 and just how much faster we all are, but I think it's time we quit stalling, and without further ado, let's get into qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. Let's go.
We're just about ready to kick off today's qualifying here in Melbourne. It's the Australian Grand Prix. And I'm here, of course, with Anthony Davidson on what has turned out to be a very pleasant day indeed. No weather to interfere, no problems on the track, so absolutely no room for error.
That's right, Crofty. It's looking good out there at the moment. Each team will have their own game plan for this session, and of course, once the cars leave the garage, they'll be under parc fermé conditions, so any last-minute adjustments need to be done right here and now. Beyond that, it's all up to the driver. Who can keep their tyres in the right temperature? Who can hit their apexes? No race fuel on board these days, of course. These are the fastest cars we've had in a long, long time, and it's right here in qualifying where they're at their absolute peak. Let's get started.
Alright, welcome guys to qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix, round 1 of the new season, so let's get into it. Went out, not quite right at the start of the session, but close enough. I felt like we could get through on one time lap, so across the line, and our first time in qualifying is a 1:19.6. That's about the time that we do in league races around here, so that just shows how far we've come in terms of improvement. And I decided to bank on that lap to get me through into the second part of qualifying. It was enough, not by much. We did get knocked down to P13, Daniel Ricciardo in 14th, Danny Kvyat in 15th, so both Renaults just squeaking through into the second part of qualifying. But Kevin Magnussen, Lance Stroll, Romain Grosjean and the 2 Williams of Russell and Kubica are eliminated in the first part of qualifying. Perez up in P3 as well, in the 1 minute 18s no less, so showing the true potential of this car. We're cutting on to Q2 now, and I feel like this has been a bit of a better lap than our one in Q1. We come across the line for a 1:19.4, so we're getting quicker and quicker at the moment as this session progresses. Getting on to the end of the session now, I decided to go out again. I didn't feel like that banker lap that we set was going to be enough. We're currently in P9, so we're basically on the bubble right here. We're not going to improve by an awful lot. It's only a 1:19.3. We do move up to P8. Hopefully that was enough, and as you can see, it was only marginally though. Look at the gap from, say, Lucas Weber down to basically down to Lando Norris. You make one mistake and you drop like 5 positions, so that just shows how close the midfield is as well. But I really don't want to be focusing on the midfield because I feel like I have a front running car. Sergio Perez is definitely showing that is a true fact, that we are now a front running car with front running pace, and well, at least that's how it looks in his hands. We're not quite there yet, obviously. 110 AI might be just a little bit OP in more than one way, but yeah, I won't get in and blabber on about that too much, but going into Q3 now, decided to go out just one time lap right at the end of the session on the new set of tyres that you get given if you make it through into the top 10. Coming up to the line now, it's been a pretty decent lap across the line. Where do we end up?
Sorry about that. Just wasn't our day.
So it's going to be P8 for the start of Season 2. Perez all the way up in P3 on a 118.5. So Perez showing just what this new and improved racing point car is capable of. Only a tenth of pole position beyond the two Ferraris. So Charles Leclerc takes pole position for the season opener here in Australia with teammate Seb Vettel alongside Perez in P3. So he's in a very good starting spot. Unfortunately for us, not so great down in P8. I felt like the lap was pretty decent, but the time just wasn't there. So we'll try and improve for the race, and we'll see what we can do. But let's go and let's go get into it, shall we?
Bad luck in qualifying. That's not exactly ideal. But there's no points for Saturday. Keep a cool head and make up for it in the race.
They say that even a second is an eternity in Formula One, so going 4 winter months with no racing at all has seemed a very long time indeed. We're back though in Melbourne, home of the Australian Grand Prix since 1996. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. Its combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners make it a tricky track when it comes to overtakes. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. I'm joined today in the commentary box, as I will be throughout this season, by a great racing driver, former F1 competitor, former world champion, and as he tells me all too often, an all-round top chap. It's the one and only Anthony Davidson. And tell me, here we are, first Grand Prix of the season, first time racing these cars. What are the big questions that need to be answered here, in your view?
Oh, thanks, Crofty. It's a real privilege to be here, and I can't wait to see what's in store for us this season. Now, to answer your question, one of the biggest things is reliability. Formula One cars are full of very sophisticated but also very sensitive technology, and this first Grand Prix of the season is going to push them to the limits. So the most important thing today is to stay out of trouble, get to the end of the race and keep everything in good condition.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and starting alongside him P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Perez, Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton and Bottas, Weber, Lee, Giovinazzi and Pierre Gasly, Butler, Ricciardo, Lando Norris and Kvyat, Raikkonen, Magnussen, Lance Stroll and Roman Grosjean. Russell and Robert Kubica takes the last spot on the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
Okay, I know it's your home Grand Prix, but treat it like any other race. Don't take unnecessary risks.
I'll try not to, boss. Welcome, guys, to the grid of the Australian Grand Prix, Race 1 for Season 2. I'm very excited about this, not going to lie. Yeah, let's just get into this. I just want to get going. Just really excited to see where everybody's going to land. Lewis Hamilton only in P5 in the Red Bull, and Antonio Giovinazzi actually qualifies behind us on his debut for Mercedes as well, so he can only manage P9, which is a little bit disappointing, to be honest. Even though Mercedes are technically fourth best car on paper, I would have still expected them to probably be in the top 5, so that's kind of unusual to see one lingering on the fringes of almost being outside the top 10. So it'll be interesting to see where Gio can get to on his debut for Mercedes, but we don't have to worry about trying to impress a team on our debut, because we've been here once before and we're here again. So here we go for episode 22, race 1 of season 2. Let's get this show on the road. Here we go, awaiting 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix. And away we go. Held the lights for a long time there. Looks like a fairly decent start Giovinazzi trying to split the middle between Lucas Weber and myself. Don't give him anywhere to go. There's a little bit of contact between ourselves and Weber coming through turn 1. I think we were 3 wide there with Giovinazzi as well. I'm not too sure, but we get the move done on Lucas. Dive up the inside of Valtteri Bottas. Kind of a half-assed dive there. That was not my intention, and Bottas shows his displeasure there by just squeezing us off the circuit, and can't blame him really for that. And that was on me there, that little bit of contact. Just didn't expect him to brake so early, and we just fired up the inside, made contact with the fin, but no damage luckily for either one of us. Cutting on to lap 3 now, just pushing as hard as I can, warning for exceeding track limits, so that's not too handy. But the leaders are already just starting to streak away ahead. Going on to the end of lap 4 now, we got Lucas Weber right behind us. Is he going to potentially try and look for a move into turn 1 here, up the inside? Goes the Toro Rosso driver. We try and hang around the outside, and we do. But unfortunately, this isn't really where I want to be. I wanted to be trying and fighting Bottas and our teammate on the fringe of a top 5 and maybe for a podium, but we really just don't have the pace of those guys here at the start of this race. I'm suffering from left front tyre overheating as well, and just trying to manage that but push as hard as I can at the same time. Big moment there coming out of is that turn 4 I think it is, I don't know, I can't remember. On board from Lucas Weber there, a bit of a hold your breath moment, but we hang on to it. Coming on to lap 7, Giovinazzi now tries his turn, sending it up the inside into turn 1. Looks like it's a little bit more successful for the Italian, and he might get this done. Hard on the brakes now. We're going to try and hang around the outside. Not easy to do. We squeeze him a little bit, and we just maintain P7 now. We're really starting to struggle at the back end of this stint, not going to lie. We're coming on to lap 9. Gio back up the inside again into turn 1. I kind of give him the spot coming into turn 1 that time, not going to lie, because I wanted to try and get the better run coming down here into turn 2. We'll try and brake around the outside, but we've gone too deep this time. Lock up on the right front. We run wide, and that just gives Giovinazzi P7. And unfortunately, tiny little mistake like that is all it takes when you're battling with the AI in close quarters. And yeah, that was it. So Gio moves up to P7, but coming on a few corners later onto the DRS zone at the back end of the circuit, we're going to send it up the inside now in the final sector, and we get P7 back. I don't know how smart it was to make that move, to be honest, because we're coming in for a pit stop at the end of this lap. One or two of the AI just ahead of us as well. I say just ahead of us, they're quite a long way ahead of us actually. But there's Max Verstappen in the pits as well. Get it slowed down for 60 Ks, and we do make sure we don't speed into the pits now for a set of medium tyres. Now this might be a bit touch and go as to whether we're going to make this 20 laps on the medium tyres. The rear tyres are really going to be the concern in terms of tyre wear, so this is going to be quite interesting. 2.2 second stop from the boys, so very quick, nice handiwork there from the team. So buying beer after the race, but here we go, 20 lap sprint on mediums to the end now, and we'll at least try and get Giovinazzi back, try and close in on the front runners if we can. But getting onto the start of lap 11, a few of the AI in the pits now. We jump up to P16. Next up, Kimi Raikkonen in the Alfa Romeo. So we'll try and get by the Finn if we can. And oh, Lewis Hamilton is out of the Australian Grand Prix. Oh no, the first race for Red Bull has not gone well for the British driver. We'll have a look. Engine failure looks to be the prime suspect there. And Lewis Hamilton, on his debut for Red Bull Racing, is left stranded at the side of the road here at Albert Park with an engine failure. Man, that's unfortunate. He was looking good for maybe a podium on his debut for the team from Milton Keynes, but it's not to be, unfortunately. But gives us a free position, so I'm not going to complain. But going on to lap 13, all of the AI have now come in. Giovinazzi was the last one to pit there as well. So that releases us into P6 now. And Romain Grosjean is now out of the session. So another one of the AI suffering what looks like another engine failure, smoke billowing out of the back of the Haas there as the two Williams come up to go past. And that's unfortunate for Grosjean there, but as you can see, we cut all the way on now to the final lap of the race basically, and that is honestly because for the 14 laps after Grosjean's retirement, absolutely nothing happened. So it was basically just me trying to hunt down Bottas. Unfortunately, we couldn't do anything. I'd get the gap down to about 2.5 seconds, and then Bottas would just randomly find some speed and just open the gap back up again. So at the moment, I think P6 is all we're going to get here for the first race of Season 2. So we'll just bring the car home now if we can. We'll have to look out for tyre wear. The rear tyres are very, very high. We're nearing the danger zone of getting a puncture as well, so we need to watch out for that. But hopefully we should be all okay to come home. Actually, no! Oh my god, no, you're joking. We've got a puncture. We've got a flat left rear tyre, lads. Oh my god, you're kidding. Just as I was saying, hopefully we can nurse this thing home without getting a flat tyre. 5 seconds later, the left rear gives out on us. But, wall tap there. But the tyres weren't even in the danger zone of 80%, so that really caught me off guard. But I think we should be safe to bring this car home. As now the left front tyre is giving out, so 2 left side punctures. But we're going to crawl up to the line now, and we are just going to hang on for P6. Oh man, what a finish to the race. Unreal.
Ferrari have really pulled it out of the bag today. It's a great win. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, I think it was clear what the main contributing factor out on the track was today: speed. I know it sounds like an obvious thing to say, Crofty, but fast cars win races, and we saw that today with our winner.
Ferrari are at it again, an excellent performance at today's Grand Prix, and they're certainly a team that know what they're doing out there.
So there we go, guys. That has been the Australian Grand Prix. What a season opener here for Season 2. We were looking good to comfortably come home in P6 without a care in the world, and all of a sudden we end up with 2 punctures on the final lap within the space of half a lap basically. So man, that could have gone horribly wrong, but thankfully we had enough of a gap to Veva, Giovinazzi and all those guys behind us that we're able to hang on for P6. Perez comes home in P3, so he starts off his championship campaign with a podium here in Australia. Racing Point P2 in the Constructors behind Ferrari. So really good result there for the team. But yeah, what a season opener. I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of the season now. But we're definitely going to have our work cut out for us, because 110 AI is no joke. But yeah, that's been season race 1 of Season 2, and man, what a race it was. Like, I can't find the words, honestly.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
Looks like one of your rivals has also been invited to a historical event. This could be a good opportunity to play up your rivalry for the press and expand your reputation.
Alright, thanks Emma. I might do that off camera, but yeah, there we go guys. A couple of interview transcripts. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't really pay an awful lot of attention to them. It's basically just Weber and Butler answering the questions that we get asked on a regular basis, and I don't know if I'm the only one, but I personally couldn't give a rat's ass of what Devon Butler has to say. So anyway, but yeah, there we go guys. That has been Race 1, Episode 22, season opener for Season 2, and what a season opener it was. If that race was any indication, then the rest of Season 2 is going to be damn good fun. But purchasing a major chassis upgrade, so that should come into effect for the Chinese Grand Prix. But thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, remember to leave a like, subscribe, stay tuned for plenty more. And until my next video, I'll see you guys next time.